morning, everyone. Thanks for being with us. Jeff Stern was reluctant to talk about his attraction to larger women until one day he found his young niece describing herself on Facebook as being fat and ugly. Her feeling of being physically unacceptable led him to the creation of the film Chubby Chaser, a look into how our ideals of beauty have gone from real size to no size. Take a look.
When it comes to body size, there seems to be some sort of anxiety. As long as I can remember, everything around me pointed out that being thin meant you attained an ideal beauty. My problem is that I've never been able to see things that way. For some reason, I've always seen fat on a woman as something attractive. I wonder why this thought feels unacceptable.
And the film's director, Jeff Stern, joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy
So,
to be here.
oh, it's great to have you here. So you posed the question, why did you find those thoughts and feelings unacceptable? Did you find an answer?
Well, yeah, it's sort of social pressure. It's something that's in our culture in America that tells us that if you're thin, you're beautiful, and if you're overweight or fat, you're not as beautiful. Mm-hmm. And I sort of went on this journey to find out why. And when I kind of looked into it, there was a number of different reasons. Everything from media to even what our mothers tell us that is beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a compounding thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an assault basically on an aesthetic.
Exactly.
And that's what establishes it in your mind's eye, right?
Exactly.
Thin is in.
That is out.
Well, you're being
Yeah.
inundated by these images. There you were, I think that was Dundas Square, and there's nothing but thin people around you in these images, and in commercials you don't even see, I don't know, an average weight woman is very rare to see that. So that would tell people that that is the norm, right?
Exactly, and then these things are carried through social media now. When it came to my niece, at one time I thought, oh, well, maybe things have changed because we do have more plus-size icons on television than when I was in high school. Right. And so I thought like Queen Latifah and even Oprah, these are feminine ideals that are very positive and beautiful. But then we have social networking, and so add that with Facebook, there was this step back too, and she was being sort of criticized online and stuff.
Do the women feel fetishized though when you use a term like chubby chaser, or when there's conventions held or things like that? Does it start to feel like a fetish?
Yeah. One thing that was funny about it though is when I went to talk to a sexual psychologist, apparently having a fetish is normal because we just fetishize everything from like body hair. We shave our bodies to be more beautiful. That's kind of like a fetish. It's like a no hair fetish. So having a fetish is a normal sexual experience.
Right.
It's when the fetish goes so far that it becomes unhealthy. And so you have to kind of watch that. But just for a woman to be...
Do the women take this as a compliment? Do they feel...
It's kind of funny because the women in their high school years, they don't get it, and they don't think anybody is attracted to them. And then it's not till when they become adults and they go, what? There's guys out there that actually are attracted to larger women?
And those guys were there in high school, and you said in the thing that you'd wished you'd danced with those girls in high school, but because of peer pressure on you and your fear of being ridiculed, you didn't do that. It was a little, there seemed to be a semblance of shame involved.
They're so competitive in those ages. Yeah. And you want to fit in. Yeah. It's the time in your life where you want to fit in the most. And then when you leave high school, it's like, oh, well, you don't really, you learn about alternative views
and individuality and everything else.
Exactly. So all these girls have these stories of, as soon as they went off to university or became adults, they're like, what? A whole world open to them.
Jeff, how did you come up with the title Chubby Chaser? And did you ever worry that might backfire, that you're trying to sort of honor these women and people might think you're making fun of them?
It was funny because I didn't really like the title. We used it as a working title, and why I used it is one of my first interviews with my nieces. I had an older niece that was very thin, very attractive. She was in high school, and my youngest niece that was having the big girl syndrome. So I talked to them and I said, well, what do you guys call guys in high school that like big girls? And they said, chubby chaser. So I kind of was like, well, if my nieces, that's what my nieces think I am, or see that as that personality, then that's what I am. If they, that's what they, so it was our working title. And then as we went through the film, people were like, oh yeah, that works. So we ended up sticking with it.
Well, it's a very interesting documentary. Again, it's called Chubby Chaser, and it airs tonight at 9 o'clock on TVO. Jeff Stern, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us.
It's been great to be here.